Habits are the basis for our actions in our lives. They guide us through our days. So they have a big impact, and they're the secret recipe for whether we achieve goals in our lives or how productive we are. Our habits determine a lot whether we're able to focus at work or we get distracted regularly. And so our habits ultimately have a big impact on whether we feel happy and fulfilled and successful in our lives. I'm Dr. Ellen, and I love sharing topics that can empower people. And if ever there was a topic that can support empowerment, this is it today. So stay with me all the way to the end so you get all of the secret recommendations. And at the end, I'm going to talk about a special program about habits. So again, stay with me until the end. We have a lot to talk about how to up-level our habits in life. So let's dive right in. The first thing I want you to know about habits, and I want everybody to remember, is habits can be empowering. They can build us up and support us in our goals, or they can be negative and they can derail us. They can create obstacles in the way of success or happiness or getting results done. And what are habits to start with? Well, habits are regular, repetitive processes that we do over and over again in our lives. They may be actions that we take. They may be how we interact and communicate with people in our lives, like our kids, or if there's a partner or a spouse, or our coworkers or bosses at work. Or they may have to do with our own self-talk, how we treat ourselves. So habits have a lot to do with our environment, about people around us, and about how we treat ourselves. So that's an important first point to know about habits. And a next point about habits is to remember that they're regular, they occur over and over again. We tend to be so ingrained and used to our habits that they tend to be automatic. And very often, we're not even aware of our habits. They're just so natural to us and so automatic. So you probably tie one shoe in the morning before the other routinely. You wake up in the morning, you go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you get dressed. You don't wake up in the morning and think, what am I going to do now? You just automatically do it. And again, because habits are just things that happen routinely, over and over again, regularly. And a third point about habits is that they tend to be so ingrained that it's often hard to change them because we're so used to them. So again, a couple of interesting points about habits is they're so natural, they tend to be automatic, we don't even realize them. And I wanted to tell you a story about how I became aware of that. So I had a friend who was visiting me, a friend who I went to college with, who visited me and stayed with me for a few days. And I've spoken before on my videos on how I live in New York City. I live on a big street in New York City. And so this friend of mine who stayed with me for a few days said, you know, I can learn a lot of city safety habits by watching you. And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, well, you have a lot of really good safety habits. And I was like, I do? And what do I do? And she said, well, when you get to your building, before you walk in the building, you look behind you to make sure that you're walking in yourself, that nobody's walking in behind you. And I was like, really? I do that? I didn't even realize. I just do it, I guess. And when I thought about it, I realized that I do turn around and look before I walk in my little building. And she said to me, and also, once you walk in your building, when you hit the button for the elevator and the door opens, she said, you look in the mirror in the elevator. So in our elevator, there's a safety feature. There's a mirror at the top of the elevator where you can see whoever may be in the elevator, even beyond what you can see when the door opens, which you can see straight ahead. And that's a safety feature. And my friend told me that I always look in the mirror before I step in the elevator. And I really wasn't conscious that I do that. But when she mentioned it, I thought about it and I realized that I do it. And so again, it's an example of how our habits tend to be unconscious. We don't even think about them, but we do them regularly because we're used to them. And again, because we do them regularly, habits are often hard to change if we decide that they don't serve us and we want to change them. And sometimes it is helpful to reach out for help to discuss habits and whether they're helpful or useful. So I want to tell you about a number of areas where I talk to moms about habits. So some mothers want to talk about their work situations and they want to get some habits in order because they want to get a new job or they want to get a promotion at their current work. And some people have their own businesses or they want to start a new business or they want to really up level and build up their businesses. Sometimes they want to build 6 or 7 figure businesses. And I do a lot of executive coaching with the mothers that I work with as well to help them build and achieve work goals. And usually for any big goal, there are a number of habits and steps you can build up to help you reach your goal. So I say to the parents that I work with, if you have a goal and you create the habits and steps that can help you meet the goal, it's almost a no-brainer. You just have to go along with those steps and you'll meet your goal. And that's an example of how habits and steps can really help you build success. So again, I talked about a new job or building your business as an example of how habits are important. Another common issue that a lot of mothers come to me with is that they want to lose weight. And I find a lot of mothers sign up for diet plans that have steps and habits that are really hard and difficult for the mothers to sustain. And if you have a goal, but the steps are painful to get through and they're really difficult, the odds that you're going to make it through those steps to reach that goal are really limited. And if you do reach that goal, the odds of you maintaining those steps are difficult. And that's when women tend to have yo-yo dieting, where they really work on habits and steps to achieve weight loss, but they just can't sustain those habits. And so they end up going back. So when I'm working with mothers on goals and things that they want to reach, I always make sure that we create steps and habits that are realistic, that are doable for the mothers that I work with. Otherwise, it's not a plan. Otherwise, it's not something that we can really hopefully, optimistically expect to happen. So when I work with mothers, we always create a step-by-step plan that's realistic and feasible and doable, because I really want to help the mothers that I work with build plans that they can succeed with. And so a lot of the mothers that I work with also want to improve their relationships with their kids or partners or a spouse, if there's somebody in the picture, or relationships with people they work with. And again, we talk about the numbers of steps and the habits that they currently have that we can up level to elevate relationships. So when you have a goal, again, it's important to have the steps of how you're going to get there. So the goal is really a destination, and you need a system to help you get there. And a system is created by the habits and steps that bring you along as a system to succeed at your goal. So James Clear, who's the author of Atomic Habits, says, winners and losers have the same goal. We often mistakenly think and assume that winners just have higher and more ambitious goals. But winners often have the same types of goals that people who lose have. It's just that winners create the systems, the right habits and steps where they can achieve and succeed in their goals. And James Clear says, you do not rise to the level of your goal. You fall to the level of your systems. So again, if you don't have a system, a plan to get you to your goal, then you fall to the level of the plan that you have. So it's really important to think about how your habits either support and elevate and help build you up, or if they don't, if you observe that they don't, how you can up level and change them to support your needs and your goals. I'm going to talk about 7 areas of habits that mothers commonly have that affect their productivity and their levels of success and their levels of happiness in life. And one is improving their relationships with their kids and their partners and co-workers. It's really important, the relationships we have with the people in our lives. A second common area that moms ask me to help with a lot is to help them create a system, a plan to get a new job, to get a promotion at their current job, or if they have their own business, to elevate their business, or sometimes to start a new business. So that's a common area. Another very common area that mothers often ask me to help them build a system with is to lose weight. And that's really common for mothers. And again, I find that mothers commonly, and people in general, commonly get involved with diet plans, with steps that they just can't do, that aren't realistic or feasible for them. And so it's hard to succeed. So for the mothers that I work with who have weight loss goals, we create steps and plans that are feasible and realistic so that we know, again, it's almost a no-brainer if you have a realistic plan that you can go from here to here. A fourth area that mothers and parents often want to up level is their health habits, like building an exercise program. A fifth area is building habits for time for self-care, like meditation or yoga. A sixth is creating habits that help you take care of your home, like organizing or dealing with clutter. And a seventh area, and this is so important and so common for mothers, is building habits to help you get out of the stress cycle. Mothers often live in the hamster wheel of stress, stress day to day to day. And often it's a result of our habits, of how we deal with our day. And if you want to get out of the stress cycle, often creating a plan and up-leveling your habits, changing your habits can really be the difference in helping you get out of the stress cycle. So again, I encourage you to examine your habits and think about what habits that you have up-level your life and support your goals and help build you up. And which of your habits make you feel stuck and serve as obstacles to what you want to accomplish in life. And again, a lot of our habits are just automatic that we don't even notice them unless we have somebody who can help us become more aware of our habits and how we can change them. Again, it's hard to change habits because they're so ingrained. So you're welcome to do that and think about your habits on your own. But I really have a mission to help mothers and help to support and empower mothers. So if you'd like to work with me, I'll tell you about a program that I have for the mothers that I work with. And I call it Happy Habits, Happy Life. Because again, if you have those good facilitative, supportive habits, it really helps build you up and create a happier, more fulfilling, more successful life. And I'd really hate for you to just watch this video and say, oh, that's an interesting video, and just put the video behind you. I really would love for this video to help motivate you and inspire you to create changes in your life that are impactful for you and your family. So again, you're welcome to do it on your own, but if I can be of help to you, I will put my calendar and my email address in the description area. So you can feel free to reach out to me. I do have a very busy calendar, but I do try to save some spots for new people because I do think that's very important. So I do have limited spots, but if you're interested in working with me, reach out as soon as you can to try to get one of those spots. And again, we can look at your habits and what's going on in your life. What kind of goals are you interested in reaching? And how can we create those step by step habits and processes to help you feel like you have a no-brainer where you can go from where you're at and reach your goals and become happier and more fulfilled and more successful in your life. So let me know in the comments if this topic was helpful. I do love to use your feedback as a guide to know whether I should come out with more videos on a similar topic or whether I should move on to different areas. So I love your feedback in knowing whether this video is helpful. Let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, you're welcome to put them in the comments or contact me. And again, this is such an important area that if you've never reached out to work with anyone before, this just might be the topic that may motivate you, that you can really change your life and get help and build towards reaching joy and happiness and success in your life. So if this was helpful to you, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. 1 is hit thumbs up. 2 is to share this with other mothers and parents who you feel may benefit from this. Because again, it really is my mission to help empower people in life. And third, hit subscribe so you can be aware when I do come out with new videos. And again, I always come out once a week with a new video at the same time. So I will see you again next week. Until then, be strong, be empowered, and let's talk again soon.